Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Trey, and I want to talk about the Rippaverse because there's a lot of announcements going on. And wow, that man is really putting his money where his mouth is. You know what I'm saying? So congratulations to Eric July and everybody from the team of Rippaverse with everything that's going on. It's just kind of like, wow, that's impressive. But I want to break it down because I've been seeing some comments on social media, and I've been seeing videos of people like think that they know better than Eric July about his own company or whatever. And I kind of just want to rebuttal some of those comments, because you have to question, like, what are you guys talking about? You know what I mean? Because I've been hearing a lot of people talking about that his company is failing all the time. That's why he has to make all those books, because the company isn't profitable. But I'm sorry, his first campaign literally made nearly $5 million, which that alone makes the company profitable, especially if the company was public. You know what I'm saying? But since the company is private and fully owned by Eric July, he is definitely profitable. He is up in a high profit margin for himself because it's his company alone. But another thing that I kind of want to talk about is people upset that a lot of the books that are being released, that are coming up or being announced, aren't being written by Eric July. Like, he can't. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, okay, and you like, oh, Eric's releasing another book, but he's not writing it or drawing it. Well, Eric is not an artist. He already said that. And if his main focus for writing is Isom the Isom character, why would he be trying to write a universe of a whole bunch of characters? You know what I'm saying? And I get it, because I know some people will probably be like, oh, well, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby did it. Yeah, but they were also funded by Marvel itself. You get what I'm saying? It wasn't just like, okay, everything is on them. It was, okay, they have a company that was already publishing comic books prior, and Stan Lee and Jack Kirby sat down and collab with each other. But, as an artist, that's kind of what happens. You kind of sit down, you collab with people to come up with new concepts for your stories. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand why it's an issue. Like, okay, if I came up with the comic book company today, and I'm able to get in contact with legendary comic book writers and artists, yeah, I'm gonna concept the ideal of the story or whatever, and then I'm gonna let them, I'm gonna let people, I'm gonna let people write the comic book or draw the comic book, because I couldn't do all of that by myself, even if I could be a writer or an artist. I couldn't be able to do that while running a company. It's just physically impossible. Like, yeah, Eric can probably do maybe 1 or 2 books, but successfully, if you want to have a universe full of characters, you're going to have to collab. And honestly, it's kind of what I want to see from a few black comic book creators that I've seen, that I like to follow or whatever and stuff like that. That I would love for collaborations for Eric July and them to do it. I know that's just my personal bias. The only reason why I'm saying it is because I see that whole Rippaverse thing, and why not collab with Eric July? Like, hey, can you help me publish my comic book or whatever? We'll get you some good writers, or maybe you can focus on just solely drawing or whatever, and then let Eric July and them campaign or fund or whatever you need, and then ship the books out. That way, not only are you getting a piece of Eric's audience, you're getting a piece of marketing that you don't have to worry about solely on your own. You get what I'm saying? So I kind of find it weird that people are upset that he's not doing the entire universe by himself, because honestly, yeah, I can probably concept a whole bunch of characters, right? And a universe, and I can probably write some backstory for the characters. But if I was running a company, a comic book company, and trying to do all of that, no. That's why Image comic books failed back in the day, because there was no cohesion. Yes, everybody was doing their own thing, and while it was owned by a lot of those people, the problem is they didn't have no leadership. They didn't have nobody that can put them in place. Like, you can be a good artist all day long, you can be a good writer all day long, but if you don't have nobody to rein you in, you might as well just not even try. And that's why you see a lot of these independent comic book companies, a lot of them outside of, Image Comic Books, IDW, Dark Horse, Dynamite, failing because they try to do everything on their own. And sometimes you got to collab with people or whatever. And I understand not everybody got $30,000 or whatever, but you need to invest in something. I always say do a model. Some of y'all need to kind of do a model like Eric July does. Stop trying to do a model like DC and Marvel because you just don't got that kind of time. I'd rather a lot of independent comic book creators work on 100-page book, and then you charge $20 to $30 for that, over you charging $15 for 24 pages, and I'm barely getting nothing, and then I'm waiting 3 to 6 months. Again, I understand drawing takes time, comic books take time. I'm never going to say that I don't understand. I get it. But at the same time, if you want to build momentum, and you want people to buy your books or whatever, or invest in your universe, you're going to have to put multiple books out. You're going to have to put multiple products out. And some people are like, oh, the only reason why he's doing that is because his company's failing. No, it's called marketing, fool. It is called marketing. When DC and Marvel started, they published more than just Superman. When they first started, okay, they got success for Superman. Okay, great. Here's Batman. Okay, great. We got success with Batman. Let's do Wonder Woman now. Okay, great. After that, let's do JSA. Okay, great. After that, let's do I forgot what the hell it was. It was different comic book names that they had, but they were still part of Showcase. Showcase. Showcase was another one that had it. All-Star Comic Books or whatever. It was multiple comic books that came out within years, years of each other, or months, depending on what you're doing. The same thing with Marvel. Yes, you started off with Captain America, The Invaders, Namor, Human Torch, and all that kind of stuff for the timely stuff. Okay, great. That's awesome, right? And then when they got to World War, not past post World War II, you get, okay, we need to do a comic book. Stan and Jack was like, okay, Fantastic Four was successful. Okay, great. That leads into Hulk. Great. Hulk was successful. That leads into Journey to the Mysteries, which introduced Thor. Okay, great. Thor was successful. Ant-Man and the Wasp. Bam. Okay, great. Iron Man. Ooh, okay, great. Amazing Fantasy. You got Spider-Man. Okay, great. Thanks. We got Avengers. Bam. Because DC had released Justice League. Justice League was successful. Hey, we need a team book. All right, great. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't just one person. It was a team. It was a collaboration. It was a team of people. You don't just start a company and think you're going to be able to do it by yourself, especially when you're doing something like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's great that people want to be creative, but sometimes you got to collab. You got to put aside your differences, or whatever, and just be like, look, this is what it is. We're going to do this. We're going to do this, this job. You don't have to like my politics or whatever, and some of my opinions might not agree with you, but let's get this work done. Let's get this collab, and let's get this money. That's what we needed. That's what needs to happen at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Now, unless it's unsafe or something like that, or it's really bothered your spirit, then sure. But I never quite understood people upset at Eric for doing what a lot of critics was saying. Like, for instance, you always like okay, I'm making videos right now, I'm complaining about comic books or whatever. I have somebody in the comment section, well, why don't you make your own comic books? You know what I'm saying? If you think it's so easy, nobody, first off, I never said making comic books was so easy, but also comic books take time, money, and when you're working a full-time job and you're working 12-hour shifts, who got time to sit down and draw comic books? Not me. I'm not saying that you know what I'm saying, like, first off, I would need to go back to fundamentals and stuff like that, because if I was drawing comic books, I would want my style to be something that in the keen of comic books, because I don't have a comic book art style, sadly. And I wouldn't do it right now because, like I said, work. I don't have a collaborator to do that kind of stuff. But if I had enough money investment like Eric July did, you damn skippy, I'd sit up there and do a comic book company. I'll hire some of the best writers, some of the best artists I can find, and collab with them. Make sure they understand the universe that I'm trying to do, and then make sure it's fully finished or whatever. And yeah, I would probably get the stuff printed out and get it campaigned out for people, and then bam, show it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't no point. You know what I'm saying? That's putting your money where your mouth is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got a lot of people who are doing comic books, right? That all they're doing is just get yakety, talking. And a lot of independent people, a lot of people don't even got nothing to show for it. The people are still waiting for books sometimes. Some people aren't getting books out at all. Some people done wasted the money or whatever. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, what are we doing? Like, there are so many things that should be going on, but instead you're like, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I just think it's weird to get mad that a man decided to step up and put his money where his mouth is, invest into himself and into his business, and keep constantly making product and material, because it's selling. You can't sit up here and say somebody's failing, and if he's failing, how is he getting people to buy his books? It's not a scam. You can't force people to buy something. That's not scamming. You get what I'm saying? Like, I like Yara, and I like Alpha Core. I thought Alpha Core was probably the strongest out of all of Eric July's stuff, because it's written by Chuck Dixon. So of course it's the strongest to me though. You know what I'm saying? But some people might say Isom #1 was stronger, or some people might say Isom #2 was stronger. That's fine. And then some people are like, well, Isom #2 and Yaira and Alpha Core didn't make the $4 million. Of course it didn't. When a company first starts and the excitement is there, of course you're going to get people to invest in it. That doesn't mean that people are going to come back either. But, the good thing is people tried it, and some people liked it and some people didn't. But to still continue to get $1 million here, $2 million here, 1.2 million, that's not nothing to sneeze at. That's a lot of money, regardless of the situation. And the books are already done. So it's not like, oh my God, we're funding these books. No, the books are already done. So that makes it even more special, I just looking at it like, you got to collab with folks and stop accusing people of AI art or using 3D assets, because a lot of people do it. Don't pretend like you haven't, Hell, even I've done a piece where I used a city landscape, and I couldn't do the city landscape by memory. So guess what? I overlaid that damn city over there and gave it a trace. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because who was about to sit up there and try to draw that city from memory? Not me. Not me. Shoot, ain't nobody got time for all that. And hell, even some of the artists will tell you that's how they did some of their city backdrops. Hell, even everybody's favorite e-boy right now online, Ethan Van Sciver, admitted that he traced cities and certain backgrounds or whatever. So it's not like it's anything new to do. And if I needed a 3D angle and I can't, if I can't do it on my own, yeah, I might use assets to help me make it better because I'm trying to show 3D. Why not? Because you ain't got time to keep constantly drawing everything by hand, especially when you need to get a story out, a book out that has a lot of pictures of a lot of action going on. So let's stop acting like a lot of things that artists done to a system is so bad, because I'm telling you, a lot of artists before me, and after me is going to be doing the same thing. So I just say, let that nonsense go. Now, if we're talking about a whole Greg Land thing where it's completely traced and you can see everything traced, then sure, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? Tracing a little bit of background to give some depth to it so you don't have to keep redrawing the same background. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like how you draw certain tattoos or details for a character and then duplicate it onto another layer so that way you can keep using that layer. You know what I mean? That way you can keep using that without having to keep over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? So, that's just my personal opinion on the whole situation. It is what it is, right? But, yeah, I just kind of wanted to bring up a little bit of stuff like that where people could continue to forget that a business has to be run and you don't just make one thing and call it a company. You have to constantly make stuff. You have to constantly produce something, because at the end of the day, that's how profits works. You know what I mean? Eric is still selling t-shirts, posters, and books from the original campaigns all the way up into the Yara stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the whole notion of he can't be doing all of this when he should be writing all his books doesn't make any logical sense. I can write out descriptives all day. I mean, hell, there like, for instance, Akira Toriyama, God rest his soul. He was writing outlines for Dragon Ball Super. He even left a little bit of notes for GT and let Toei Animation do it and let Toyotaru do it. There's nothing wrong with writing out premises and plots and then let everybody else fill in the blanks. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Like I said, I just think that all of this is just kind of dumb, but it is what it is. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out. Oh, there go my train.